The drive to my mother's house felt endless. Rain clouds gathered above the empty highway. My hands gripped the steering wheel too tightly. Every mile brought back old wounds I tried to forget. Mom's voice echoing, comparing me to Sophia. Always the same. Sophia the perfect one. Maya the helper. Maya the giver. The porch light was already on when I arrived. I didn't bother to knock. She opened the door, surprised but pretending not to be. "Maya, what are you doing here?" she asked, smiling too wide. "We need to talk," I said quietly. Inside, the house smelled like vanilla candles and control. She returned to arranging flowers, as if I wasn't there. "If this is about the party, don't make a scene." "It's a family event," I replied. "And Lily is family." Her sigh was long, practiced. "She's too energetic. You know how she gets. It's not a place for children." I clenched my jaw. "You mean it's not a place for my child?" Before she could answer, Sophia walked in. Her voice soft and sharp at once. "Maya, don't do this now. You know Ethan's parents expect certain things." I stared at her, at the dress I helped her buy. "Do certain things include erasing your niece?" Sophia flinched, but hid it behind a smile. "You're being dramatic." "It's just one party." "One party," I repeated. 8 years old, and already excluded from her own family. Mom poured tea like nothing happened. "We can talk later," she said. But the conversation was already over. I looked around the kitchen, counting pieces I'd paid for. The new fridge, the chandelier, the polished marble counter. Each one a quiet debt disguised as love. "I sent you $800 for this," I said. She waved her hand. "Upgraded the catering. Ethan's family is influential. We must make a good impression." The words hit like ice. So my money bought the food that feeds strangers. While my daughter isn't welcome to sit at the table. Sophia crossed her arms, eyes narrowing. "You're overreacting. It's one afternoon. Stop acting like a victim." I laughed, but it came out broken. "Victim? I've paid your tuition, your rent, Mom's bills. You call that playing victim?" Dad appeared at the doorway, silent, listening. His eyes found mine. "Go home, Maya," Mom said coldly. "You're ruining the mood." "The mood?" I whispered. There it was, the truth they never said aloud. Appearances mattered more than people. More than Lily. Dad's voice broke the silence. "If Lily isn't welcome, I'm not coming either." Mom froze, teacup trembling in her hand. "You can't mean that," she whispered. He looked at her like someone seeing a stranger. "I've never meant anything more." I turned to leave. The air felt heavier than the rain outside. I didn't slam the door. I didn't need to. It was already closed. The house was silent when I returned. Lily was asleep, her small body curled under the blanket. Daniel looked up from the couch, worry etched across his face. "You saw her, didn't you?" he asked quietly. I nodded, unable to find words. He didn't push. He just reached for my hand and waited. The storm outside rattled the windows like a warning. I stood, walked to the kitchen, and opened my laptop. The familiar folder blinked on the screen. Family expenses. Rows and rows of receipts filled the page. Dates, amounts, reasons. All the ways I had tried to earn their love. 24,000 for Sophia's tuition. 700 for Mom's washer. 1,000 for furniture repairs. Little numbers that built a mountain of resentment. Daniel came to stand behind me, reading over my shoulder. "You kept track of everything." "I always did," I whispered. "Because I knew someday I'd need proof." I scrolled through years of transactions. Each one a memory disguised as generosity. Every gift followed by guilt. Every loan forgotten. Every promise ignored. The total flashed at the bottom. $36,950. My throat tightened, but I didn't cry. I opened another tab, searched for local resale services. A number appeared. I dialed before I could hesitate. A calm voice answered, professional. I need to arrange a pickup, I said. Several household items, all purchased by me. Tomorrow morning, if possible. They confirmed the appointment. I hung up and closed the laptop. Daniel leaned against the counter, arms folded. Are you sure about this? I met his eyes. They took enough, Daniel. I'm just taking back what's mine. He nodded slowly. Then I'll help. We stood there in silence, listening to the thunder fade. For the first time in years, the house didn't feel heavy. Later, I went to Lily's room. Her drawings covered the wall, flowers, suns, stick figures smiling. In the center, a picture of our family holding hands. She had drawn my mother too. My chest ached. I knelt beside her bed, brushing a curl from her cheek. You deserve better, I whispered. Tomorrow, everything changes. In the morning, I printed every receipt, labeling each one carefully. Living room. Kitchen. Appliances. Furniture. I placed them in a neat folder, clipped and ready. Daniel made coffee, silent but steady beside me. When I finally looked at him, his expression was calm. You've carried this too long, he said softly. Maybe it's time to let it go. I smiled faintly. No, I said. It's time to let them go. I set the folder on the counter and exhaled slowly. The sky outside was clearing, pale light breaking through the clouds. Tomorrow, I would walk into that party not as the daughter they used, but as the woman who finally stopped apologizing for existing. The morning sun glared off the polished cars lining my mother's driveway. Laughter floated through the air, light and artificial. I parked by the curb, the moving truck rumbling quietly behind me. My heartbeat matched the engine's low growl. Daniel texted once, be safe. I didn't reply. I didn't need courage anymore. I only needed closure. Guests mingled under white canopies, glasses of champagne in hand. The same people who used to pat my head and call me the sensible one. They turned when I stepped through the gate. Whispers rippled like wind through silk. Where's Lily? Why is Maya alone? And what's with the truck? Mom appeared at the top of the stairs, perfect smile locked in place. Maya, darling, you came after all. Her voice dripped with control. I smiled back. Of course I did, Mom. I wouldn't miss the party I paid for. The words cut through the air like glass. Silence followed, sharp and heavy. I walked to the music table and unplugged the speaker. The jazz stopped mid-note. Every head turned. This speaker, I said, cost $230. Bought by me. I pointed to the glittering lights. Those two. Paid with my money. And the refrigerator inside, the television, the furniture, mine. The movers stepped forward, ready and calm. Please begin, I told them. Mom's voice trembled for the first time. Maya, what are you doing? Collecting what belongs to me, I said simply. A man at the bar whispered, unbelievable. Sophia pushed through the crowd, her heels clicking fast. Stop this, she hissed. You're embarrassing everyone. No, I said. You did that when you told me not to bring my child. Gasps spread across the guests like sparks. I pulled out my phone and read the message aloud. Don't bring Lily. Ethan doesn't want kids there. Ethan's face paled. I never said that, he muttered. I know, I said quietly. It wasn't you. It was them. The movers carried out the TV next, their movements steady and efficient. Mom lunged forward. You can't do this. Those were gifts. No, I said. Gifts come from love, not guilt. These were payments for approval you never intended to give. Sophia's eyes burned with tears and fury. You're jealous, she spat. Of what? I asked. The lies, the debt, the silence. Ethan turned toward her, his expression changing. She told me her parents paid for everything, he said slowly. Is that true? Sophia's face crumpled. Mom tried to speak, but her words tangled. Guests began leaving, murmuring apologies that weren't for her. The movers lifted the final box and nodded to me. Everything, accounted for, one said. Thank you, I whispered. Mom's voice cracked behind me. You're destroying this family. I turned, meeting her eyes one last time. No, I said. I'm just ending the illusion that it ever existed. Then I walked away, heels clicking against the stone path. Each step lighter than the last. The garden was chaos behind me. Voices rose, desperate and sharp. I kept walking until I reached the gate. Then I heard the sound, paper tearing. I turned. Mom stood in the middle of the patio, holding Lily's handmade birthday card. Tears burned in my eyes before I could stop them. She ripped it again, her voice shaking with rage. Your daughter ruined everything. The glittered pieces fluttered like ashes to the ground. Every shred sparkled under the sunlight, beautiful and broken. For a moment, no one moved. Sophia cried behind her hands. Guests pretended not to see. I walked back slowly, each step heavy with disbelief. You just proved everything I ever said, I whispered. Mom's face twisted, half guilt, half pride. I did what I had to, she said. To protect this family's name. Dad's voice came from behind her, calm and low. Protecting the family's name by destroying it. She turned, startled. Henry stepped into the sunlight. His expression unreadable, but his eyes tired. You followed me, I said softly. He nodded. Someone had to make sure you didn't face this alone. Mom's chin lifted. You're defending her, after all I've done for this family. Henry's reply was quiet but sharp as glass. You've done enough, Evelyn. Enough lies, enough favoritism. You've turned love into a currency. She blinked rapidly, clutching the torn card pieces in her hands. You can't just leave me, she said. He sighed, picking up the old leather bags he'd packed earlier. I already have. Sophia reached for him, crying. Dad, please don't go. He touched her shoulder gently. You're welcome to visit when you learn what kindness means. Then he turned to me. Ready, kid. My throat ached, but I nodded. We walked past the guests, past the silence, past the wreckage. Mom's voice cracked behind us. Don't walk away from me. Henry stopped, looked back one final time. You walked away first, years ago. When you decided appearances mattered more than love. Her eyes widened, but no words came. I reached the car and opened the door for him. The air smelled of roses and regret. As we drove off, the house grew smaller in the mirror. For a moment, I thought I saw her sink to her knees. But I didn't look again. Neither of us spoke for a while. Only the sound of gravel under the tires filled the silence. Finally, Dad exhaled, slow and steady. You did the right thing, Maya. I don't feel like it, I said. He gave a sad smile. That's because doing the right thing rarely feels good. It just feels honest. The road stretched ahead, long and unfamiliar. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of where it led. Behind us, the house stood quiet. A monument to everything we were leaving behind. The days after the party blurred together. Silence hung in every corner of the house. Henry moved into the guest room. But it didn't feel like a guest anymore. It felt like home. Lily asked once why Grandma was angry. I told her some people forget how to love softly. She nodded, too young to understand. Yet somehow wiser than most adults I knew. At night, I found Dad at his desk under a small lamp. He was gluing pieces of Lily's torn card together. Each fragment fit him perfectly, edges rough, colors mismatched. You don't have to do that, I whispered. He smiled faintly without looking up. Yes, I do. This is proof of what we're protecting. His fingers trembled, as he pressed the final piece down. The card was scarred but whole again. Maybe that was enough. The next morning, messages started flooding in. Sophia first. I need help, Maya. Ethan left. I can't pay my rent. Then another. Mom says if you cared about family, you help. I deleted them both. 10 minutes later, Evelyn's name appeared. Her text swung between guilt and anger. You're ungrateful. You're cruel. You owe me. Then threats about lawyers and visitation rights. I forwarded each one to my attorney and blocked her number. Daniel watched quietly, saying nothing, just standing close. He didn't need to tell me I was right. The calm in his eyes said enough. Days passed. The ache began to dull. One morning, the doorbell rang. It was Aunt Clara with a basket of cookies. She smelled like cinnamon and truth. You were brave, she said, stepping inside. I made coffee, and she sat across from me at the table. For hours, she talked about the past. Stories I'd never heard. How Evelyn pitted her sisters against each other for decades. How she borrowed money and called it loyalty. How she used affection as a weapon. You're not the first, Clara said. But you might be the first to stop it. Her words landed like balm on an open wound. When she left, I looked around the house. It finally felt like ours. Henry had framed Lily's repaired card in glass. It hung above the fireplace, edges visible, proud. Sometimes he'd pause there, tracing the cracks with his thumb as if memorizing them. It's beautiful, I said one night. He nodded. Scars mean something was worth saving. Weeks later, a letter arrived. A resale company's check and invoice. Every dollar from the recovered items listed clearly. The total could have paid another year of Sophia's tuition. Instead, I signed it over to the Children's Art Fund, where Lily took her painting classes. It felt right. That night, as Lily danced in the living room, light from the fireplace glinted on the framed card. The glitter still caught the flame. The pieces didn't hide their breaks. They glowed because of them. 6 months passed before she came back. It was a gray morning, the kind that smelled of rain and regret. The doorbell rang once, soft but insistent. I opened it to find my mother standing there. Her hair had grown out, streaks of silver showing through the dye. Her clothes were wrinkled, her lipstick uneven. Maya, she said, her voice trembling. Please. I need to see Lily. Behind me, Henry appeared quietly, his presence steady as stone. He held something in his hands, a framed picture. Lily's birthday card, repaired and shining under the glass. I said nothing. Mom's eyes filled with tears when she saw it. I was wrong, she whispered. I was proud. I hurt you. Please don't keep her from me. Her words hung between us, fragile as glass. For a long moment, all I heard was the rain on the porch roof. Forgiveness might come someday, I said finally. But trust takes longer. She nodded, her chin quivering. Tell me what to do, she pleaded. Start by understanding that I'm sorry doesn't erase what you did. Lily isn't a prop in your performance of family. She's a child who deserves love without conditions. Henry's grip tightened on the frame. This stays with us, he said softly. It's a reminder of what matters most. Mom reached for it, but he stepped back. Her shoulders sagged. The fight left her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered again. But the words sounded like they were meant for herself, not for me. I closed the door gently, not in anger, just finality. Through the window, I watched her walk down the path. She paused once, looking back, then kept going until the rain swallowed her silhouette. Behind me, the house felt quiet but peaceful. Lily's laughter drifted from the backyard. She was helping Daniel water the garden, splashing more than pouring. Henry set the frame back on the mantel. You did the right thing, he murmured. I watched the raindrops streak down the window. Maybe, I said. but doing the right thing still hurts. He smiled faintly. That's how you know it's right. Months passed. Autumn arrived with golden light and cool air. Thanksgiving morning filled the house with warmth and cinnamon. No Evelyn, no Sophia. Just chosen family. Clara brought her famous pie. Friends filled the table with laughter, the kind that didn't hide sharp edges underneath. Lily built towers of blocks near the fireplace. Henry carved the turkey, humming an old tune. Daniel met my eyes across the table and smiled. This is what family feels like, I thought. Later, I sat on the porch swing, watching Lily chase leaves in the wind. The sky burned orange and gold. Inside, laughter echoed against the walls. The framed card caught the sunset, glitter glowing like fire. It wasn't perfect. It was patched and scarred. But it was whole. And so were we. The evening settled like a soft blanket over the house. Lily curled beside me on the porch swing, warm and sleepy. Her laughter still echoed faintly from the garden. Inside, Daniel and Henry cleaned up, their voices calm and easy. The smell of cinnamon and roasted turkey lingered in the air. I looked through the window at the framed card on the wall. The cracks still showed, tiny silver lines under the glass. They didn't ruin it, they made it real. Scars are proof of survival, Henry once said. He was right. We weren't the same family we had been before. We were smaller, quieter, but honest. Chosen family filled the spaces, left behind by blood. Lily looked up at me, eyes half closed. Are we happy now, Mommy? I smiled, brushing her hair back from her forehead. Yes, sweetheart. We are finally happy. The wind carried the scent of rain and earth. I thought of my mother somewhere out there, still learning the cost of her choices. I didn't hate her anymore. I just didn't owe her my peace. Lily sighed, drifting to sleep in my arms. The night hummed softly. And for the first time, it felt like home.